Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and I am back in the UK following an absolutely extraordinary weekend in Seattle at HCS 2025, the final HCS for Halo Infinite. And I have a huge recap video that I want to get through. I'm still a little bit dazed by the whole process, and don't be surprised if I get emotional at points throughout the video. But yeah, I want to give you guys kind of a behind the scenes look, so to speak, at what it was like at HCS, and then round this out with a few thank yous. I arrived in Seattle after the long flight from the UK, already feeling the cumulative weight of travel, adrenaline, and anticipation. Despite being extremely tired, the moment I stepped into the vibe of the community night and saw familiar faces again, friends, creators, cosplayers, fans, I was hit with something full and beautiful. It wasn't just a gathering, it felt like coming home. I saw the familiar greetings, the laughter, the hugs, people I hadn't seen in a couple of years, maybe more, and the connections were immediate. In a world where day-to-day is often behind a screen, writing scripts, audio, editing, and alone with my thoughts, to be surrounded by the community in full flesh and colour felt visceral. The support, the energy. It started right there, the moment we arrived in Seattle. The community night itself was actually hosted at Spin in Seattle, which is kind of like a ping pong bar club kind of place. A really nice place, really nice venue, and filled with awesome people. They had a room at the back that they got sorted out for like LANs for both the Master Chief Collection and also like legacy, like Halo CE LAN, as in like big old-timey CRT televisions. Absolutely awesome to see that old hardware making an appearance at a modern day LAN. The event itself was hosted so it was in celebration of Podtacular, the podcast's 20th anniversary, and was done in collaboration and partnership with Jumperscape Media, Nautical Halo, Laird, and Ranger Cali. It was an absolutely phenomenal event, getting to bump into people I hadn't met before, bump back into people I had met before, and share hugs and laughs, and just that reunion of the community ahead of the event really just kind of set the bar and set the tone for the entire weekend. After a rather restless night, day one came around and it was time to head to the Seattle Convention Center, the Arch Convention Center, for the event proper. The hall, when we arrived, was buzzing, and it seemed like everywhere you turned, there was someone to say hello to. In fact, that even preemanated before the event. Actually, at the corner of 6th and Seneca, as I recall, I was stood waiting to cross the street, and I heard a voice that was familiar to me. I looked over my right shoulder, and stood right behind me was Cammy Shep, no less. To bump into him as a completely impromptu surprise meeting, set the tone for the rest of the day. Just surprise meetings with awesome people, one after the other, and just sharing a love for Halo. Initially, upon arriving at the event, it was literally just a blur of faces, both faces that I remember and faces that I don't, until such time as I found myself in the crowd for the official reveal of Halo Campaign Evolved, the remake of the original campaign of the franchise. The atmosphere in the room was electric. The stage lights, the roar of the fans, that sense that everyone was witnessing something historic. There is a full live reaction coming where both myself and Lucy were kind of stood off to the right hand side of the room near the entrance, reacting and watching this announcement as it went live. That is on the way, so stay tuned for that. After that announcement, it was a bustle of activity and more people and more meet and greets and more signatures and autographs and selfies, until I was marching through the event and past Cammy once again, where we reconvened and shared our immediate thoughts, the surprise and the hope for the future of Halo. Available immediately after this announcement was the playtest demo of the Silent Cartographer, which I didn't get a chance to play on the first day, on the Friday, but I did get a chance to play through on the Saturday, and my full thoughts on that are coming. But I will say, however, that for me, and probably for many, many others, my first encounter with Halo was the Silent Cartographer in Halo CE on the original Xbox on a demo console in my local video game store. And of course, that experience left such an impression with me for the short time that I got to play the Silent Cartographer in the game store before I was pulled out by my mother, that I then endeavoured to get the console, get the game, and every other game that's ever been released since, and every book, and become the official lore nerd that I have since become, now obviously feeding into me being a full-time content creator for Halo. So that left a hell of a mark. So if that's anything to go by, when I did play the demo, same feelings. I was a kid again in that game store, playing Silent Cartographer for the first time all over again. It was glorious. But again, full thoughts coming in the next video. After this, Friday continued to be a whirlwind of meeting people, fans recognizing me, people coming up for selfies, handshakes, autographs. It felt surreal. I felt grateful and humbled. It reminded me how much I love what I do and how much I love them, the community, as it is the community that keeps this franchise alive. We moved from there into the Makers Contest, where I got to admire even more incredible craftsmanship, weapons, props, builds, and fan creations that showed the sheer ingenuity of this community. Saturday started with something I'd been waiting for, the Campaign Evolved playtest demo. I finally got to sit down and experience the first half of the Silent Cartographer, and honestly, it took me right back to my childhood. That sense of scale, the music, the sound of the pelican descending, all of it was so familiar and yet so new. For a moment, I was a kid again, sitting in front of an old CRT television, replaying that mission over and over. From there, I headed over to the cosplay competition. Every year I'm blown away by the passion, the craftsmanship, the sheer dedication that goes into those suits. And this community doesn't just love Halo, it builds it, one armor plate at a time. The community corner was buzzing all day, creators, fans, builders, and old friends everywhere. It was here that I showcased the real Mjolnir helmet, and the response honestly floored me. For more than 2 hours, people came over to look, ask questions, take photos, and share their excitement. It's hard to put into words how much that meant to me. To see the project I've poured so much of myself into be met with such awe and appreciation. It was easily one of the highlights of the entire weekend. Then, in true HCS fashion, we wrapped up the evening with a massive mod pizza meetup. So many of us crammed into one place, sharing food, stories, and laughter. Alex, who somehow seemed to know everyone there, even treated a bunch of us to pizza on him, which was beyond kind. It was chaotic, loud, joyful, exactly what you'd expect from a Halo community dinner. Sunday always carries a different tone. By design, the community stage begins winding down on the final day, and as always, it leaves the event feeling a little quieter. You can feel the adrenaline settling, the fatigue creeping in, and a faint melancholy that the weekend is nearly over. But this year, the community corner kept going, and that made all the difference. It gave people like me, who come primarily for the community side of things, a place to still gather, to talk, to wind down together. Then we got hit with one last surprise, the announcement of Halo Fest 2026, including Halo in concert and a 2-day festival dedicated entirely to celebrating the franchise. The crowd around me erupted. It felt like the perfect follow-up, the promise that the Halo celebration was only just the beginning. After this, we headed out for some lunch, at which point Lucy got a drive-by compliment from Alex, who shouted out a Skyrim quote as he passed her by. It was one of those small, perfect moments that just encapsulates how warm and connected this community really is. So a big shout out and thank you to Alex at Mod Pizza, fan of the community and evidently fan of a great many content creators. Thank you for the free pizza, thank you for hosting us at Mod Pizza, and I hope to see you next year at Halo Fest. And as day 3 finally wrapped up, we moved to the after party at Coast Seattle. A final chance to celebrate, laugh, reflect, and say our goodbyes. Crossing paths with more content creators, more devs from Halo Studios themselves, including a big shout to Divian and to Tashi, both of which were hugely warm, hugely accepting and welcoming, and just awesome, genuine people. There's something beautifully bittersweet about the last night. The music playing, people hugging, promising to stay in touch, knowing full well how quickly the real world rushes back in once the lights go down. And of course, being in my mid-30s, I wasn't going to go to the after party because hangovers for me now no longer last half a day, but about half a week. I can't stay out of action for that long, I'm afraid. So instead, myself and Lucy decided to have a little bit more of a chill evening, sat on a sofa near a very strange and lonely pumpkin, and just had conversation until we more or less decided it was time to turn in. After packing up and collecting my thoughts, we went down to the Seattle waterfront, found a quiet swing, sat there looking out over the water and just breathed. It was calm, the adrenaline had faded, replaced by quiet gratitude. That swing, the cold air, the skyline behind me, felt like the right way to close it all out. To just be, after 3 days of constant motion and emotion. Eventually caught our flight back to the UK, tired but fulfilled. I spent most of that flight just staring into empty space, replaying everything in my head. The faces, the laughter, the applause, the helmet showcase, the hugs, the sheer love that permeated every moment of that weekend. It was, without exaggeration, a breathtaking experience. One that reminded me why I do what I do, and why I'll never stop creating for this universe and this community. Because this, you, are the lifeblood of Halo. Without you, there is no Halo. And I can't thank you enough. Go into this... God, I'm getting weak as I get older. Going to this event highlighted something to me that... Come on. Come on. Going to this event highlighted something to me that I already knew, and many people in the community already know this as well. And we spoke I spoke with content creators, met just members of the community, even the devs themselves, that there is so much hate and vitriol online, so much negativity surrounding Halo, and it's for years now we've had a tough go of it. I completely admit that. But going to an event like this, you see nothing but love. You see nothing but love and support. Support of creators supporting each other. Support of community members supporting creators. And support of everybody supporting the game. A game that's so near and dear to all of us. A 25-year-old franchise that's come to define many of our lives. And when that franchise is in pain, when it isn't doing as well, it hurts all of us. So, to attend HCS and just see love in abundance. So much that it's overwhelming. It is so powerful. And I'm so thankful to the community. Fuck, come on. And I'm so thankful to the community for being that way. For being so welcoming. And so wholesome. And just supportive. In love with the franchise. And with each other. It's truly beautiful that a game has brought so many people together in such a genuine way. Such a powerful way. That had the modern technologies of the internet and games consoles not existed, it just wouldn't have been possible. Which I think is part of the reason why we get which I think is part of the reason we get these kind of after-con blues or after-event blues, because you're excited the whole time, you're just amped up and adrenaline is coursing and there's just so much support and love, and then you go back home and it's not like our lives lack that. It's just that it's up at 11 the whole time that you're at these events, and then you go home and you have that. You have to come back down to baseline. That can be uncomfortable and painful. But when I go to these events and I see
cosplayers, I see fans of my work, community members, developers, people I love. It's painful because although we have this connection that we can share every day through the internet, it's still only once or twice a year that we get to actually be in each other's presence, which is so much more powerful. It's so much more valuable in the interaction. It's so much more authentic and genuine. And you get so much love and so much support and so much encouragement at these events that then when you come home, you realise it's going to be a long time until you see them again. I'm literally fighting for my life here. I think the reason I'm doing this and not editing it all out is it's helping me process the post-con blues. But I also want people to understand that it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel pain and loss when you see so much love in the community. It's okay to be moved to this point and be thankful and grateful for how much support you've been given. And this is particularly pronounced to me because I believe I made a social media post while I was going out there. I was sat in the aircraft and on my inbound to Seattle, and I just had this wave of just gratitude that I'm able to be in that position. I was able to be on that flight. I was able to be a content creator in the Halo universe, to have the support of the subscribers, of you, to have my community, my fan base, but also the wider community. I was just an overwhelming wave of gratitude, and it's not lost on me how lucky I am to be in the position that I am, to be able to go to these events and witness the love for the Halo franchise firsthand. So when you see people online saying, Halo's dead, move on, I urge the people who write those comments, attend one of these events. Social media is an echo chamber. You'll shout anger and vitriol and hate into the void, and it will come back to you because it's an echo chamber. Other people who equally dislike it will come back, and even if they don't dislike it, you'll get arguments from people who do. So it just becomes a shouting match. That's all you get. It's just an echo chamber. If you're like that, or if you're just fed up with hearing it, just go to one of these events. Go to HCS, go to Halo Fest next year. Because I promise you, the outpouring of love that you'll see will completely and utterly change your perspective on whether or not Halo is dead. Because I'm telling you firsthand, I just spent a long weekend in the presence of thousands of people who are the lifeblood of this community. Halo's not dead. It's never been dead, it's never going to be dead as long as people like that exist, and they aren't going anywhere.
After spending the weekend at HCS, I've returned home to the UK, and honestly, I feel emotional. The outpouring of love for Halo and for each other was overwhelming. Every moment there, emotions were dialed to 11. We were excited, pumped, full of adrenaline, running on almost no sleep. And when it all ended, when we came back down to baseline, there was bound to be an overflow of emotion. Because what I saw was beautiful. It's so easy to get worn down by negativity we see online. But then you step into a place like HCS, surrounded by thousands of people, united by their love of the same universe, and you realise how much good still exists. You'd have to be made of stone to walk away from that feeling nothing. For me, it hits especially hard. Most of my days are spent alone, in front of a computer, writing, recording and editing. And while I'm endlessly grateful for every like, every comment, every subscriber, it's still a digital kind of connection. But being at HCS, hearing your voices, seeing your faces, shaking hands, taking selfies, signing autographs, it's real, it's visceral, and it's humbling beyond words. Even on the flight over, I was overwhelmed with gratitude. I kept thinking, I'm actually flying to Seattle to attend an event as a Halo content creator. That's something my younger self would never have believed. I know how lucky I am, and I don't think I'll ever be able to thank this community enough for allowing me to do what I love. It reminded me of why I fell in love with this universe in the first place, and why I'll never stop creating for it. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who made this weekend what it was. To the community, you are the lifeblood of Halo. Without you, there is no Halo. To Halo Studios, thank you for hosting such a spectacular event where we could all come together and just love. Love the game, love the franchise, and love each other for an entire weekend. To Austin and Jump Escape Media, thank you for hosting the Community Corner, where I had an incredible privilege of showcasing the real Mjolnir helmet. The response was beyond anything I could have imagined. 2 solid hours of people coming up to see it close up, to ask questions, to share in that dream. It meant the world to me. To the cosplayers, thank you once again for being that beautiful, up-armoured family who take care of each other. Special thanks to Luca, Papa Bear, and Commander Peaches for their constant kindness and care. To John and Mike, 2 of my best friends, thank you for always supporting and encouraging me. You both mean the world to me. A huge shout out to Kat Peterson, the voice of Dr. Halsey and Cortana in so many of my videos, whom I finally met in person this year, and who was every bit as lovely as I knew she would be. Thank you, Kat, for always pushing me to be better at everything I do. And of course, to the community and fans who made this year so special. You are the reason I do what I do. And lastly, I want to give a special thank you to Lucy. Many of you know her as Lucy J. Robin. By a stroke of fortune, thanks to a flight cancellation on my part, we ended up travelling together, and she became an impromptu travel companion. I know how daunting it can feel to attend your first Halo event alone, and I didn't want that to be her first impression, so I introduced her to the wider Halo family, and true to form, this community didn't disappoint. They welcomed her with open arms, full hearts, and red carpet treatment. I deeply valued her company, her support, the chances we had to collaborate, to be each other's cameramen, and to simply take in that spectacular weekend together. It was an absolute honour and privilege to be her chaperone for the weekend. To everyone who made HCS what it was, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I already miss you dearly, and I'll see you at Halo Fest in 2026. Until next time. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to tap that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Pop a comment down below on things you'd like me to cover in the future, or any thoughts on today's video. I'll just quickly take this opportunity to thank my patrons and YouTube supporters: Falcon X003, the singular Contender class Ancilla, Laser and Spartan 0137, 2 of the triumvirate of minds within the Metarch of my installation. My installation's monitors: Shane, Orion, Spartan 1029, 121 Esoteric Sight, Ashley, and Sylphia. The creche of sub-monitors: Legion, Ryan, Labrat, Element 0, J3, Mr. Keys, Gunslinger Cult, Evermore's, Personal Devil, Scion Esports, Phantasma, and Tony. My fleet of Strato Sentinels, my most loyal of Enforcers, and every single one of the awesome individuals helping to support the channel over on Patreon. It really does help and allows me to keep doing what I do, and I can't thank you all enough. Huge shout to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members Balaz, Jimbo, and Mori. Thank you for continuing to stand sentry over my installation from all threats metaphysical. And if you would like to help support the channel in a more visceral way, consider jumping aboard as a YouTube member or patron to earn tons of perks, merch, and goodies along the way. Thank you again for watching. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.